please listen carefully.
Hello, universe, and welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Christy Jansen.
And I'm Summers McKay.
And we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to one focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, even if you don't have a commute, fake-it-worthy, walk-worthy, and home office-worthy podcast. Today is Tuesday, oh my goodness, it is not Tuesday. Today is Wednesday, the 2nd of December, 2020.
Yeah, but what are the days of the week anymore, Summers?
I mean, days are fake, aren't they, Christy?
One of our stories, this is not one that we're highlighting, I don't think, but is talking about creating a fake commute to get into your work mode. We have like 12 steps from our beds to our desks now, right?
Yeah.
And I think a great fake commute could be just like turning on the Optimist Daily.
Exactly. Turn on the Optimist Daily update, jam with us for 20 minutes. Clean your kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how you walk to work.
Exactly. I am so with you on that. And this morning, I will say I had a very peaceful, spacious morning this morning because my husband and both older children and the baby all left 15 minutes earlier than normal because our oldest daughter needed to be at school a bit early. And I will tell you that 15 minutes, I really did turn into kind of a fake commute, and it felt amazing. So there's
glorious
something
15
to it.
minutes.
Exactly. Before we get into the meat of today's conversation, which is going to be fantastic, I just want to take a moment to thank the Chris and Christine show. They had me on a couple weeks ago for an interview, and we had a great conversation. So here is just a little clip.
So, for those who don't know, what is the Optimist Daily? Like, say, what is it?
Yeah, we have a worldwide editorial team who goes and scours the news for positive, solution-oriented stories. And it's not just like, yay, the kitten in the tree got saved stories. It's
Did
real.
that happen? Did that really happen? I want to know.
Oh, I mean, of course there are, like, all the fluffy animal stories, right? I love that. And, I've loved the stories. I do subscribe to the Optimist Daily across my social media channels, and especially on Twitter. I love the positive stories that pop up in the sea of less than positive news right now. In the, vast wasteland of Twitter negativity. Right. You can really read tactical solutions every day.
If you want to listen to more, we have linked to the whole show in the show notes. And, Christy, what did you think?
Well, Summers, that was a cool conversation, and I love how you really turn the spotlight on what we're working on with reframing social media as well as just the general news feeds, because that is really one of the things that has transformed our world in a negative way that we're working to counteract and changing the tenor of social media along with,
exactly.
News media.
Down with Twitter rants. Anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, but moving off of that and into the meat of today's conversation, Christy, we have a really fascinating subject to talk about and two stories that are in the same vein. But first, before we get into them, I want you to frame a little bit the conversation. Can you talk about hydrogen energy?
Yes. So, hydrogen is the most abundant chemical in the universe. But when we talk about the promise of hydrogen in terms of shifting our energy sources, what we're talking about is using hydrogen and the fuels that come from hydrogen to help generate electricity. And also it's a stable long-term way to store energy. And it's used in many industrial productions. I think they actually do use it for rocket fuel, for example. It is somewhat flammable it is highly flammable actually in certain formulations when it's a gas. But there are other ways that are more stable to contain it. And it's very important in industry and as an energy source. The way that it's created right now for industry is typically by, it's called steam reforming, and it's an industrial method, but it isn't green hydrogen. It uses natural gas, and it uses a lot of high temperatures. It's not the best. There's some other newer kinds of methods, and hydrogen production using methane pyrolysis is considered a no greenhouse gas process, but it's still kind of heavy industry, and it's not what we're talking about when we talk about green hydrogen. What we talk about there is we talk about electrolysis of water. And it's a very simple method. It takes a low voltage of current running through water, and gaseous oxygen forms at the anode while gaseous hydrogen forms at the cathode. It's kind of a way of separating the molecules in the water into hydrogen and oxygen. So the reason this is considered green is that you get the hydrogen and you get oxygen. That's the gas that comes out is not carbon dioxide. It is oxygen, which is what we need to breathe, right? And so it's a very green, clean way of creating hydrogen. It's simple, and it's something that we've known about for more than 100 years. The problem is that it does take a bit of energy to do that process, and it's considered a slow kind of way. But there are new ways of doing this. And when you have like a renewable energy plant and you have all this excess energy, right now what they're doing, because of the way that the grid is built, they have to keep demand and supply basically matched. When you have a drop in demand and you have an overabundance of solar energy or wind energy, what they'll do is they'll just stop taking that energy from the solar cells, or they'll just, stop absorbing that energy from the windmills, or they'll turn them off, which is leaving that energy on the table.
Yes.
If we could use that for electrolysis, then you would have green energy, which is like free energy, basically, coming from that overabundance of wind or solar or whatever other green kind of renewable energy you're using, right? That's when we're talking about green hydrogen.
Yeah.
Why don't we use that to talk about your story today, which is all focused on green hydrogen?
Well, and at the Optimist Daily, we are bullish on all green energy solutions and the research that's involved and the work that's involved to bring them into fruition. And a lot of that is going to come from testing in small groups, small environments, small cities. And what I am incredibly inspired by is today's headline that reads, "Homes in Scotland will be the world's first to use 100% green energy." So basically, hundreds of homes in Scotland are moving to green hydrogen energy. Scotland's gas company, SGN, is going to outfit about 300 homes with free hydrogen boilers, heaters, and cooking appliances to be used for more than 4 years. This project will basically be a way to create runway for clean hydrogen and up to 1,000 properties in 2022. Basically, Britain's energy grids, are shifting to a low carbon future, and it's just really exciting to see the way that they're taking this new technology, putting it into a small community, determining the efficacy, kind of working through some of the kinks and saying, all right, this is a long-term plan. I'm very excited about this particular use, and I look forward to kind of tracking it and seeing what they're doing. And once again, I feel like I say the same thing every day, but you have a combination of the for-profit and state-run agencies working together to create a holistic solution. So I'm loving this, and I'm very interested to see how it goes.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons that I'm so excited about hydrogen and green hydrogen in particular, to move us away from our dependence on carbon base, on fossil fuels. Exactly. Because, natural gas is something that it's piped into most of our homes in the United States and around the world. But it does have some downsides. It has some issues. And moving towards a hydrogen, and particularly green hydrogen, in lieu of that, that's how we're going to transition away from our dependence to decarbonize. That's how we're going to decarbonize our energy.
Well, not only are we doing it here on this planet.
Yes.
What's your headline?
I just loved a lot of the headlines today, but the one that, of course, I'm going to talk about, the headline goes, "Scientists figure out how to turn briny water on Mars into oxygen and fuel in space." And so the reason that I went into the whole idea of electrolysis is that that's exactly what these engineers and these scientists are working on. And they're particularly focused on how to use the water, which already exists on Mars, to create the oxygen and the fuel sources, the hydrogen and the water that these astronauts are going to need to survive if we ever make it to Mars. But engineers at Washington University in St. Louis are working on this new electrolysis device that is focused on converting salty water, which is what you find on Mars, into breathable oxygen and hydrogen for fuel. And as I mentioned before, electrolysis is a process that we've understood for more than 100 years. And what it does is it splits water into its constituent atoms of hydrogen and oxygen. But you need fresh water to do that with the way that we understand how this can work. So what they're working on is how you can use briny water, which is what you can find on Mars, and operate in the extreme cold of the Martian atmosphere. It's working. It's working. And that's what's so exciting. It's a technology innovation that could not only solve the problem of how you can get
How we live on Mars.
on Mars. I mean, okay, now it's cool to imagine that and science fiction-y and all of that, but taking that knowledge and then applying it to how we can use that knowledge on how to convert salty water into hydrogen and oxygen. How you can use these electrolyzers under these demanding Martian conditions. It's like applying that to the Earth conditions, which are where we are now.
Exactly, which is where we live currently. And, I want to just thank you for that absolutely masterful explanation
It was
of
not
green
all
hydrogen.
masterful.
And no, it was masterful because at this time of the day when there are not enough cups of coffee, that is a difficult topic to frame in a tangible way for those of us who are not scientists. So thank you so much. And I think that, of course, there are risks with hydrogen. Certainly there are risks with every new energy solution.
Yeah. I mean, the reason that people, talk about hydrogen, oh no, that explodes. It's terrifying.
Right.
It's terrifying. And you think of the Hindenburg.
Right. Exactly.
What they found out was that the reason the Hindenburg was such a disaster that it was because actually what they painted was solid rocket fuel. That was the paint they used on the outside of that.
Yeah. Super bad combo.
Super bad combo. I mean, and it was just, they didn't really understand the incredible explosive properties of what they painted the whole airship with. That is now a known thing. And so, yes, hydrogen is flammable, but it's less destructive in its flammability if you understand it and you know how to contain it than even, gasoline. So,
anyway. And we all know a little more about hydrogen today. Yeah. So thank you. Also on the Optimist Daily today, there are a lot of non-hydrogen based articles. Although, wait, aren't we all technically hydrogen based? Anyway, that's too meta. A few more headlines read, reintroduction of native bison is bringing lost crops back to life. And that's reintroduction of bison, particularly in a tallgrass prairie preserve in Oklahoma. A court grants priority status to historic youth-driven climate case. That's pretty exciting. Working from home, we mentioned this, why you should add a fake commute to your day and listen to the Optimist Daily Update. Why the use of mRNA in COVID-19 vaccines is exciting for science. Hungary becomes the latest country to ban mink and fox fur farming. Say fox fur farming a lot. Want to make a donation this holiday season? Here is a guide to help you. It's donation season, guys. Get on it. And let's see, a modular treehouse design was inspired by wasp nests. That's a great story. And looking for a snack, dried fruit, linked to numerous health benefits. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys all for listening to the Optimist Daily Update. We promise to continue to share positive, solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is changed for good. We promise to cover the current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and offer you the information needed most to chart new paths for all of us.
And as we say every day here, if you enjoy what we're doing and you support the idea of focusing on solutions, please consider becoming an emissary in theoptimistdaily.com. And for only $5 a month or $15 or whatever you think makes sense, you can help support reader-funded independent journalism and be a part of the solution-changing consciousness that addresses our world's biggest challenges with a problem-solving mindset. Let's keep the Optimist Daily free for all who need it, supported by those who can. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Summers. Talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
What do you call it? The chart, the chemical chart is number 1.
Periodic table.
Periodic table. Yes, on the periodic table. Sorry. I'm all tongue right now.